way I look at it, I was very focused on dishes. So now it's a totally different focus, and it feels actually more like less stressful in a way. To have to constantly think about like, well, what should I eat, or what should I eat, or just pay attention to the ugly and according to the state of that. It's a lot less complicated. It's simple.
ഇത് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത് ഇൻവെർട്ടറിലല്ല. കറണ്ട് പോകുമ്പോൾ ഇത് ഇൻവെർട്ടറിലാണ്, പക്ഷെ അത് ഇൻവെർട്ടറിലല്ല. ഇതിൻ്റെ പവർ എവിടെയെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അത് ഇൻവെർട്ടറിലേക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റും. ഇത് ഇൻവെർട്ടറിലാണെന്ന് ഞാൻ ചെക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. ഇത് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത് ഇൻവെർട്ടറിലാണ്. ലൈവ് ഓപ്പൺ എനിക്കതിനെ സംസാരിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഇത് പോയിരിക്കുന്നത് ഇൻവെർട്ടർ ലൈനിലേക്കാണ്. ഇത് കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നതിലേക്കാണ് അത് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, സോ യാ ഗുഡ്. Sorry. Yeah, what you want to say?
Yeah, I don't think it's so profound, but I think the discussion of kind of not having our next food before the previous meal digested, I thought about it more from an overconsumption standpoint, right? Which I think is still true, but I didn't really think about the combining of two efforts, right? Your stomach's almost doing one thing, and then you're combining something fresh food in it, and it's a new process, and that can create just a slight tweak on how I was thinking about it, but it's helpful.
Can you please repeat? Like you halfway digest something and then
adding new food.
Yeah.
That, combining your meals in the stomach. But it's not just about having too much. Kind of to your point, you could have a slice of pizza. All right, fine, maybe that's what you should have had. But then a salad, which is really light. So it's not just about too much food. It's about having these kind of two actions taking place in your digestive system, creating a problem.
Yeah.
On its own, not because you had too much food.
No, you're right. Yeah. For example, the concept of grazing. You might have this is another concept, right? You don't eat a meal, but you keep eating small things. So it's a quite weird idea, because it's not the way in which digestion is happening. Digestion is happening. It's like a compartmentalized process. For example, your stomach digestion will go on until the stomach pH and the consistency of the stomach content reaches a specific state, right? So body has a mechanism, a very complex mechanism, very complex mechanisms to constantly sense the consistency of the stomach content and the pH of the stomach content, and it keeps secreting hydrochloric acid, and it keep producing other enzymes, and it keep making physical movements until that pH and the physical consistency is reached, right? So irrespective of the quantity of the stomach or the volume, body is trying to reach to an optimum point of pH, acidity, and then the consistency. So you are halfway reached, and then you add a new substance into it. Again, body has to start from the scratch. Now there are two kind of ingredients in your stomach. One is in one pH, second is in another pH. One is in one physical consistency, another is in another physical consistency. So it's not easy, right? To again start sense, because there's a sensory part in it, and then secretory action part. So until you reach a specific pH and a consistency, your pyloric sphincter, the pyloric end of your stomach, the end of the bottom part of your stomach, remains closed. It will not open. Until this phase is reached, stomach content will not be allowed into the next compartment, to the duodenum. So that means the food which have been eaten previously have to again stay and wait, and again you put another batch, and again it has. So it keep being processed, and probably at a point it starts fermenting. Right? It starts going into a very abnormal process. uh, of the various unwanted bacteria coming into the role. And, it takes the whole process into imbalance. That is the problem than just overeating or the stomach volume. Of course, stomach volume you can imbalance it in one meal itself. Like somebody can just overeat and stomach volume will increase. Or you have, but this not finishing a meal and then giving the proper time makes another totally different issue. And if you keep doing that, that can be a cause of a serious imbalance. That was the discussion. Right? Is that clear? Good. So today we are going to another sutra, the ninth sutra, which speaks about the bowels, types of bowels. So when you in English, when you say bowels, you're speaking about how is your bowels today? Speaking about
Elimination.
elimination. So you're speaking about the elimination, right? If Agni was speaking about the digestion, now bowels. The word Kostha almost stands for bowels. You can almost Kostha literally means the digestive tract. So you can almost translate that word. In Sanskrit, they are using the word Kostha. Kostha. Yesterday we were discussing about Agni, types of Agni, fire, right? Today we are discussing about different kinds of Kosthas. So we will first just chant the sutra. Kostha, Kruro, Mrudu, Madhya, Madhya, Syad, Tai, Samai, Api. Right? So we will again read the words Kostha, Kruro, Mrudu, Madhya, Madhya Syad, Tai, Samairapi. Now we are going to chant. Kostha, Kruro, Mrudul Madhyo, Madhyasyatai, Samairapi, 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 Repeat. Kostha, Kruro, Mrudul Madhyo, Madhyasyatai, Samairapi, Kostha, Kruro, Mrudul Madhyo, Madhyasyatai, Samairapi, Kostha, Kruro, Mrudul Madhyo, Madhyasyatai, Samairapi, Very good. Now, can you find any Sanskrit word that you know already in this sutra? Of course, I said Kostha means bowels. Okay, Kostha means bowels. And then any other words?
Sama is bowels.
Very good. Sama is balance. Very good. Mridu. Have you ever heard Mridu? No. Soft. Mridu means soft. Good. Madhya. Okay. Good. So at least two words we know. So this is a good exercise to do, huh? To improve the vocabulary. Every day you will see before I say your meaning, if you how many words you can. Now nowadays even your chat GPT gives answers. Huh? You put even if you copy paste the sutra chat GPT will give 2 pages of explanation about this. That's an interesting phenomenon. I don't know if it is all right, but at least if you do that. So yeah, now we look at the word meaning. Kostha is bowel. Krura is very interesting word. Krura literally means cruel. Cruel. But in English, yeah. So they are very close to each other. Huh? Cruel. Cruel person. So the first type of bowels, the people who have the experience knows when the bowel is really cruel to you. Cruel bowel means, sorry, burning. Oh, that's your experience. Unfortunately, yeah, it can also be very cruel, but unfortunately, that is not the context. That's not what is called as cruel. Yeah, now that's also an interesting thing. Here, when we speak about bowels, we are not speaking about the stool, right? This we have to make another differentiation. This is an interesting difference. People don't make these differentiations usually. Even Ayurvedic, yeah, it's not good to say, but doctors may not make this differentiation. But it is important. See, Purisha. Purisha is a Sanskrit word for stool, right? So when you are speaking about Purisha, you are speaking about the fecal matter or the stool, right? But when you're speaking about the bowels, we are not originally speaking about the stool. What are we speaking about? How your bowels are moving, how you are eliminating, right? How the rectum, the sphincter, the anal sphincters, the anus, etc. is doing this process of elimination. It's part of the peristaltic process, but it's also a special reflex, right? When the rectum is really full, and there is a process of opening the sphincters and eliminating this fecal waste outside. So this process of elimination, the movement, is what is here called as, or this sphincteral movement, or this movement of elimination is what is known as bowels, right? So how is your bowels? We are not again speaking about the stool, right? There may be or may not be. This you should remember. There may be and may not be a connection, right? A person passing stool with lot of difficulty, strain, and discomfort, taking a lot of time is what is cruel bowel, right? The bowel is being cruel, right? You have to really strain, yeah. And yeah, even like especially elder people even have to even manually extract their stool, right? See, sometimes they have to take out their own stool with fingers, like I'm telling you, that's extreme. This is all being of course, maybe for common people now to listen, maybe it's a bit shocking, but as a doctor, this is all normal things that you come across as people get elderly or even early ages, vata constitution people have such a difficulty of eliminating stool, sometimes they have to use manual evacuation with their fingers, right? Or they have to go for suppositories. They have to have a choice, right? Then they might prefer manual evacuation, right? So it's so cruel that it doesn't push things out. They feel, yeah, there are people who push here, they have different postures, and really they will appreciate Indian squatting toilets. See, Indian squatting posture. And the toilets, which are Indian toilets, which you don't even see in India now, uh, where you squat, really helps constipation, because that's a posture where you have put pressure. You put pressure on these two mama areas in inguinal region, and with the flex knees, and while your pelvis completely opens in the squatting posture, and that's the best posture to evacuate, right? So even many people might climb up on the European toilet and sit in a Indian squatting posture and defecate. So there are different circuses happening, right? So how the bowels are becoming cruel to you, right there, and this need not essentially always be associated with hard stools, right? It can be neurological. Understand? It is the power of the sphincters to contract and some of the sphincters to open. So it's a coordination of various sphincters and rectal muscles, etc., and perineal floor, etc. It's a bit of a complex function of how it functions and eliminates the rectal content, the fecal matter. So even if a person has a softer stool, even a liquid stool sometimes may not come out. You see, because it's a neurological deficit. It's a neuromuscular coordinated action, right? So Pura Costa or the cruel bowel is not essentially always speaking about hard stool, right? But they can run together most of the time, because whenever the stool stays longer in your rectum, you tend to make it harder and harder. You again and again try to pass, more and more gas is flatulence is eliminated, and each time the flatulence is going out, it is drying out, and it stays longer and longer. Then even it becomes like a rabbit or a dog poop, like a pellet. That means it's being dried and even turned around within your rectum, right? Like a pit, rolled, vattana. It's all water. It's all done by the water. That is, but that is not what we are speaking about. We are not speaking about this, the consistency of the stool in this context, but it most of the time will run together, right? Purusham Gratidam Duksham. This is the Vata type of Purisha stool, might run parallel with Kruda Moksha, but they are not one and the same. We have to appreciate that differently, right? So when we are speaking about the bowels, bowel movements, we are speaking about how difficult, soft, soft. When your bowels are soft, it's like flowering in the toilet. Spring. The bowels are so soft, right? So you understand these words. Cruel bowels, soft bowels, then madhya, middle, in between. Neither soft nor so cruel, right? That is what is the normal stew is, in between. It's not so soft, it's not so cruel, medium, in between, madhya. So vata causes what kind of bowels? Cruel, krura, koshta, krura, koshta. Pitta induces soft bowels, and kapha induces medium, in between. Right? This is the vata pitta kapha. Then there is a madhyasyad tai samairabi. Thai is again is a word that you have studied yesterday. Thai means Thai. Very close. Thai. They was they. It's by them. Thai means by them. By them means by the doshas. So by the doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, right? Krura, Mrudu, and Madhya. Dhruva, soft, and medium, right? Then he says, Madhyasyad Tai Samairavi. Sama is when they are balanced. Tai Samai. By them, when they are balanced, it again is medium, right? Medium Kostha. So, Kapha is also having a medium Kostha. Samadosha is also having a medium Kostha. So, I repeat, there are only three types of bowels. Cruel bowel by Vata, soft bowel by Pitta, medium bowel by Kapha, but also when all the doshas are balanced, that also leads to medium bowels. Right? So balanced and Kapha will share medium types of bowel movements. Right? So naturally, this will also indirectly will tell you how much Pitta will evacuate. Naturally, Pitta will evacuate a lot. Vata will evacuate with less. Kapha and Sama will be in between, medium, when the quantity of evacuation, the evacuative tendency, eliminating tendency. So, we have seen that dosha affects your digestion yesterday by influencing the Agni. And now today we see doshas control the elimination too. Your evacuation, your elimination is also controlled by the doshas. And this is also important. This is a very important thing. Again, this you cannot, there can be a constitutional tendency. Vata constitution can have a constipating tendency. Pitta constitution can have a soft bowel consistency, right? Tendency. And Kapha will have, and Samadosha, Kama people will have a medium kind of a bowel evacuation constitutionally. But this can also highly, right? It's clear. Kapha person will also get constipated or not. Yeah? You can agree with it, right? It's not that always Kapha person will have a medium stool. No. Kapha person, if he also doesn't drink enough water, he eat a lot of drying things like lentils, a lot of dry fruit, not fruit, dry fruits, but drying grains or drying various kinds of vegetables or various kinds of food, which are drying in its nature, and have less movement, etc., then that can also lead to constipation to even a kapha constitution person. A kapha constitution person can also have a krura kostha, right? If there is a vata imbalance induced, right? But vata constitution have a tendency for constipation, right? Cruel kostha. So that tells us that vata should always try to have food more fibrous, more warm, more greasy, more liquid intake, right? So that the elimination becomes a bit better. More fruits, but the elimination is better. Pitta, like soft kostha, is defined as definition. What is soft kostha? a person's bowel which can have a diarrhea even with one glass of milk. Kshirenapi virichi. So there are people who, if they take one glass of milk, they can have a diarrhea. It's not that they don't digest it. You know? The bowels are so soft. So because milk is slightly laxative, a mild laxative. Milk is an example of a very mild laxative. Right? It's oily, it's watery, it's flowing, right? So even with very mild laxative, these people will have a loose bowel surrounding. Or there was somebody, like even when they are stressed, they will have diarrhea. Right? Even when they have a mental stress, they are angry at somebody, then they go to toilet 5 times. And whereas Vata, like Krura Kostha, they are angry, they don't go for 5 days. So Krura Kostha is defined as a Kostha which even have difficulty to pass stool even with drastic purgatives. Even if you give drastic purgatives, which are very strong things to induce diarrhea, even with that they might pass through with difficulty. That is the definition of Krura Kostha. See, whereas Mrudu Kostha is people who will evacuate or have a loose stools. You want to come closer. The fire wants you to come closer. See, there's a life and consciousness there. And the divine consciousness wants you to come closer. Ah, ആ മഹേഷിനോട് ചോദിച്ചിട്ട് കൊടുത്തു കൊടുത്തു അതെ ശരി okay, so what we were saying, yeah, so this is, it has a lot of importance practically in your life, right, to understand what is your bowel tendency. Bowel tendency, then you can plan your water intake, food intake, nature of food, etc. accordingly. So if there is anybody, if you don't mind to say, with a Krura Kostha, if you want, if you anybody with a cruel bowels here, and if you have any tips from your own life experience, what helps, you can tell now. If you don't mind, yeah, ghee, ghee helps. How much? How do you take ghee? Every meal. So ghee helps. Every meal. If you have fire to digest, you can take. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So snigdha brings more oiliness. It is the dry nature of vata which makes the mobility reserved, and it's spasmodic. It doesn't allow things to easily move. So both oiliness and heat, because coldness also doesn't. Cold is basic spasmodic tendency. Yeah? Something which is constrictive is the definition of cold. Right? Definition of cold is something which is constrictive. Right? When you have a cold weather, you have vasoconstriction. You sometimes pathologically Raynaud's disease, right, where your extremities become blue and etc. So because cold, it can induce constriction, vasoconstriction, muscle constriction, cramping, constricting. So vata is cold. So the cold nature of vata, then you need to give hot things. You see, you have to find out what is it. So if dryness is the problem, you have to give oiliness. Both can cause. So you have to find out what is your problem. And if your problem is dryness, you drink more water, you have to take more ghee, you have to take more fruits, etc., which oilates, the oily things.
Heat up the
No,
digestion?
no,
Cools it down?
cool down. But the thing is, if taken proper dose, even though ghee is cooling in potency, it kindles the fire. See, there are few substances which are cold in potency but increases the fire. Digestive fire, you understand? Like ghee we use in the puja, right? Ghee is cooling. The same ghee we will use when if you feel burned, you suddenly touch the ghee. Because ghee is also the best medicine for burns. So it's cooling, right? So something which is used as a medicine for cooling, such a good medicine, ghee, pure ghee, right? For burns, the same thing when poured into the fire, fire comes out, right? It's a prabhava. It's a prabhava, yeah. So for that matter, but it is good for the digestion, like improve the digestion. If taken in right quantity, if there is no ama, it helps the digestion, but it is cooling in nature. So if coldness is the cause of constipation or cruda costa, ghee may not help. There you have to really use warming things. You use warming spices, warming herbs, hmm, and even warm food, and especially peya, etc. Like soups. You can see like when you drink even vegetable soup or rice soup, etc. You sweat. Huh? You seen that? Just take if you take rice soup now, you'll sweat. It is so heating inside, and it really opens by heating. So you have to choose what you want according to what is causing the cruda costa. But the vata has these two possibilities. So it is important for you to know your bowel type because you want to adapt your diet, lifestyle, etc. accordingly. A cruda costa person, a sedentary job is the worst. To sit and work is the worst thing that you can do. You will definitely develop hemorrhoids and much more. Right? If you have cruda costa, a cruel digestive bowel tendency person, if you have a job of me, like who has to sit from morning to evening, will definitely develop hemorrhoids, anal fissures, fistulas, and so on. Right. Okay, so you have to choose your lifestyle and diet according to your costa also. So these are basic things that originally controls your life. If you have a good agni and kind of a good bowels, halfway your life is relaxation. Right? Then if you have if you are able to sleep almost good, okay, basic life is saved physically. So agni, koshta, two important things: digesting and eliminating. Hmm. So see, life is an interesting process. That you know. You definitely know. I don't have to explain. Oh, why it is interesting. See, we eat dead, hopefully, or at least in your stomach it will die. There are cultures of people who eat fresh fish and all, like they jump out of your mouth. The cultures like that, where you eat live fish. Okay, at least inside your stomach they are dead, right? So you are eating dead tissues of animals and plants. Human being is not able to eat mud, right? We cannot eat mud, earth, and live. We can only live on the tissues of other living beings. That's clear, right? The only thing you can eat straight from the earth is water. Other things we cannot digest. We can consume water. Everything else is either a plant tissue or a animal tissue. It is so in Europe also. It's like in India. US is different. So, see, you are eating dead tissues and you digest it. And digestion is the breaking down process, right? You break them down into minute molecules. And there is a selective absorption. You absorb some things from that. And you eliminate something, right? So you take some molecules from the tissues of other animals or plants, and some tissues you know you don't take it. For example, cellulose you don't take it, fibers you don't take it. Yeah? Even many nutrients we don't take it. We eliminate. So this elimination, and then what we do? These molecules we convert it into our tissue. You see, you convert the dead back to life. That is the magic that you do. And that magic starts from breaking them down. You cannot directly convert a leaf into your muscle, or that magic doesn't happen like that, like this. You have to first dissolve it and then screen something out and take something and slowly, slowly. See, it goes through different stages. It's not that suddenly you can convert muscle into your muscle. Just go through various screening processes, filtered and filtered and filtered. So we call it as dhatus. First it makes the rasa dhatu, the lymph, a plasma, and then the blood, and from the muscle, and from fat, and then the bones. It's getting filtered. Every level, it is the body is filtering something out. Rasa, you take out something and make it into that. The plasma, you further process it and filter something out and convert that into your blood tissue. You further process that and filter something out, you make your muscle tissue. Like that, you filter and filter 7 times filtration. 7 dhadus, 7 tissues. You 7 times filter, and the 7th tissue can give birth to another life. You see? You see this magic? Because it's reproductive tissue. This is basically life. What is life? Life is using human life, using tissues of plants and animals, burning them, breaking them into minute molecules, then taking something out and receiving only something to first level, first compartment, which is the compartment of a rasa. Then there is a rasa fire. There is a fire that again burns that. And again you burn and break it down. Again you filter something out. And then you convert that into next tissue. Again you burn that. So, you burn, further break down, further filter, and get it further in. So you're taking in slowly, gradual taking in, taking things inward, through plasma to blood to the muscle to fat to bone marrow, And from that level, from bone marrow level, then the reproductive tissue is formed. Until that, it is going in, bone to bone marrow, and then from the bone marrow it comes out and it is everywhere. This said, your shukradha, your reproductive tissue or sexual tissue. It's not just for females. It is not reproductive. It is sexual. This is responsible for sexual function, excitement, libido, orgasms. So this sexual tissue is there everywhere in your body, like how cane juice is there everywhere in the cane. It is said. And of course, then it is being made into the reproductive tissue in man, like in male, as a symbol. In female, it is just responsible for orgasm, libido, the female ejaculation, etc. It's even interesting, even interesting to see. Even in ancient 3,000 years ago, there was a discussion about whether female have ejaculation. See, and whether this reproductive tissue shukra is responsible for that or not. So, you see, what I'm telling you is basically life is fire, Kostha. Fire, Kostha. Fire, Kostha. Kostha means elimination, filtering. You burn something, break it down, filter something out, take it in. Burn something, filter out, take that, and take it in. So, Agni Kostha. This is how you transform the external substance called food into your own body.
Does the reproductive fluid is also to do with immunity as well?
Sorry?
It's also to do with immunity as well?
Shukradhatu?
Shukradhatu?
Yeah, every tissue has its role in immunity. Immunity is not one thing, right? Because when you speak about each dhatu has its own functions, its own various aspects of body and mind is fulfilled. Right? So you can see even reproductive tissue has so much of neurological functions. We see when Shukradhatu is depleted, even neurodegenerative diseases happen. You see, dopamine, these mood enhancing substances, which has even connection to libido, orgasm, etc., also has neurological functions. So there is a also. So we cannot. So then immunity, when you say like it's not the immunity what the Western medicine is speaking about, like immune system is like a lymphatic system, or that's not the concept. But when you say immunity, you have to have even a better mind, right? The basic weak immune system is when your mind is very feeble. Have you noticed that? When your mind is feeble, you are on. Let it be. Forget about your physical constitution. Okay. When your mind become weak, whatever is the reason, maybe you had an emotional situation or a difficult situation in your life, irrespective of your constitution, you will have problems. You will notice that when your mind is stable, you are very resistant to everything. You can go through any challenges. So, for Ayurveda, immunity, first of all, you have to consider mind. You cannot just. So, in that way, even Shukra Dhatu is important. But there are other dhadus, like, Rakta is so much, blood is, Western medicine gives a lot of emphasis to blood and immunity, right? Leukocytes, lymphocytes, all these things. So, for Ayurveda, it is not just the blood, all the, even rasa, even beyond all fire. If you have a strong fire, you will burn anything. You see, when in yoga, the Yoga Pradipika speaks about the benefits of peacock pose, Mayurasana, the peacock pose, and see What is the speciality of peacock? Peacock will eat snakes, and usually they will eat only toxic things. They like that. So they will eat fruits and worms and all, but also they like to fight with snakes and or scorpions or any kind of toxic things. It kills and eat it. It is said if you give toxic, even chemically toxic thing to, if you show peacock, peacock will dance because it likes to eat. It's somehow, it's like you eat coffee and cheese, drink and eat cheese. Peacock eat snakes and enjoy. So why it is not affected by toxins? It is said it has such a fire. It has such a digestive fire. Why it has such a digestive fire? Because its legs are in its belly. You see? Its legs are in its belly. So you are trying to do the same in peacock pose, right? You're trying to stand. You're trying to keep your elbow next to your spleen, pancreas, and liver, right? And you bring that whole body weight there, and you lift your head and leg up so that the whole circulation comes to these vital organs of liver, pancreas, spleen, etc., which is so responsible for your immunity, your detoxifying capacity, your digestive capacity, etc. So that your fire can even digest kala guda. It is the strongest poison it is. That is the benefit of Mayurasana. According to Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Mayurasana can make your digestive fire strong like peacock so that even you can drink even the strongest toxin and you can digest it. You have such a fire. That means if your fire is so strong, even you can burn toxins. What is toxin? We are going away from our topic. It's time to finish. A toxin is that which you cannot digest, and that will digest you. I repeat, a toxin is that you cannot digest, but that will digest you. Right? A toxin when enters in your body, let it be through mouth or through an animal sting or whatever, your body is not able to metabolize it. You don't have fire. Your fires cannot burn it. It stays as such. It is not being transformed into another state of molecule because your body don't have antibodies or antivenoms to convert it into something, neutralize it. So it remains undigested, unmetabolized in your body, but wherever it comes in contact, that starts burning the tissues around. It leads to necrosis. It burns. That is what is Visha. But if your fire is strong, you can digest any toxin. It's not a story. Yogis has demonstrated this. Right? Okay, so yeah, why soon after dosha, Agni and Kostha is explained. Because this is what is determining your health. If you have strong Agni and good eliminative capacity, then this is what is making life safe. Right? Hope that makes some confusion in you. Thank you for listening.